Hello, it's me again, hopefully with better audio. I'm trying to figure out this audio thing. I feel like I've had some crazy background noises or something, and I have a filter on right now that may make it super quiet when I talk. I'm trying to figure all this shit out. I probably need to get a real mic. Kind of have like a just a mic that attaches to like my headphones. It's like not a dedicated mic. Anyway, hey. I kind of wanted to talk today about feeling ready. I I'm kind of thinking about feeling ready for combat achievements, as well as like IRL stuff. We'll see if I can find the through line, but I think I'll start talking about combat achievements. I only know like one raid really. I know Theater Blood. It's the hard one, right? Like it's the scary hard one, whatever. It's just one of the raids. I don't know. I don't see it as that crazy. Oh my god, my cat is scratching the shit out of his scratcher right now. I don't know if it's coming through on the mic, but yeah. So I only know Theater of Blood, and I'm getting to the point at Theater of Blood where I'm starting to feel comfortable doing combat achievements, and want to I want to like do them. I want to do the theater combat achievements. And so these are like notoriously, well, I won't say these. The hard maybe the hardest or one of the hardest combat achievements is in here, Perfect Theater. And I think like um I haven't felt ready for this forever. I don't know. I think like I think a lot of people think this way in RuneScape. I think I just kind of thought like, oh, I'm not at that level. I'm not as good as the people who get those. I'm not like I don't know the tech or the etiquette, whatever people do there. I don't know. I felt like I had some kind of block where it's like, oh, I'm not allowed to go for that. Like that's for the gamers or something. Um, But I sent Mauritania only. So another one is I'm trying to get Mauritania only. It's you just have to use Mauritania only weapons. It's not like full Guthans or anything. You don't have to do that, but you just have to use the Mauritania weapons. So I actually managed to get a group together in like 30 minutes after I started looking this weekend. And we send and it's like actually really chill, like pretty easy. And then we get to Verzik and I'm kind of running low on restore and I'm like pretty out. So I'm like flicking mage in range when Verzik is attacking. It's kind of ass. But I have bruise. And what I didn't know about this combat achievement, someone said it in the like RuneScape chat while like in the group. He said like don't die or you won't get it, and I like misread what he said. I didn't understand. So anyway, I'm trying not to brew because I don't have any restore. Because I don't want to brew down. I don't want to brew down my stats for some reason because I don't know. That's like something in my head where it's like, oh, I want to keep my stats high, especially at P3 like in rage. I want to like keep my stats up. So it's P3 and Rage. Everything's crazy. We all have Guthan spears trying to kill the kill Verzik, and I die. I run under Verzik, and a crab spawns right under me. Like it was after we had done all the specials once. So it was like the second round of crabs, and it spawns right on me, explodes, and just kills me. And I was sitting kind of low because again I didn't want to brew down for some reason. I was thinking about DPS rather than like surviving. And I didn't get the achievement. Everyone else in my group got the achievement. I didn't get the achievement. Um, and I think like my takeaway from that is one, know exactly what the constraints of the combat achievement are before you get them. But also, um, like the fact that it wasn't that hard was like crazy to me. I think like there were a few things, right? Like if I didn't have to tank Verzik, but like if I did, and I hadn't, and I wasn't comfortable with it, like that would be something where I'd be like, oh, I really want to make sure I'm okay tanking, because that's pretty serious. Like you want to make sure you're not killing your team. Is this the, oh god. Sorry, trying to set up DKs here. Kind of new at doing this. I haven't really done DKs before. You can just die. You just die down here. These guys are like still bosses. I feel like you kill them pretty quick in current day, but they're still strong. Oh god, he's coming over here. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna run down, whack this guy. Okay, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. I'm supposed to kill the melee one next, but it's gonna be hard to get over there. Anyway, what am I trying to say? Oh, the perfect top, or yeah, perfect top, Mauritania only, all that. So I'm going to try to get Mauritania only again as quickly as I can because it was just that easy. I'm bringing way more brews this time, like, or not more brews, more restores, and like knowing that prayer is like such a thing because everything lasts so long. All the bosses take forever to kill because you have shit gear. So you need to like have a bunch of prayer, which I didn't even think about. But yeah, so I think like just the fact that it was like that easy was really encouraging though, because I was kind of like, oh, like it's. I think people know this, but it's like more about like the group you can get together. It's like not like I don't know. It's almost like not that hard for one person within the group. It's just that everyone in the group has to be kind of good enough to get it going. I didn't bring a sand view, of course. So anyway, I sent out in kind of my clan's Discord, like, hey, or I just sent like a looking for Mauritania only. Didn't end up getting another group that day, which was this weekend. Bummer, but whatever. I'm like, as soon as I can get a group together, like this thing's locked in. It's pretty easy. But someone in the Discord was like, oh well, I'll send with you sometime, and then they said like also, I just have a few left for GM. I need perfect Tob, and I was like, in my head, I wasn't gonna go for perfect Tob yet. I was like, I need to learn hard mode. Like, I don't know, I need to do all this stuff. But I was like, oh, I mean, I don't know, I'll do it. It's just a trio, and like you do some like kind of weird. You just play it safe, basically. You just kind of do some weird stuff where you try to make the bosses like easier. I think you like range Zarpus the whole time. You like kill all the crabs at Verzik and stuff. I think I'm gonna go get. This is ass. I'm gonna go get a anti-poison. Bummer. But it's like not that bad. It's not that bad. I know it's the hardest one, but I feel prepared for it. I feel like it's just I just have to get a good group together, really. I have to just probably watch a video of someone doing it to get a good group together. And it's chill. I don't know. I think it'll be all right. And I think like for some reason in my head, I thought I was gonna have to do a lot more stuff. I thought I was gonna have to do like, oh yeah, I was saying like I definitely need to know how to tank Berserk, which I do. Good enough, right? I'm not like stepping under for only one tick every time, but like good enough. I won't kill the team, whatever. It gets a little dicey during enrage maybe, but I think that's the case for a lot of people who you'll raid with if you don't have like a super dedicated team, which I imagine most people probably don't. Anyway, train of thought is off the rails. Trying to figure out how to get back to how to get back to DKs. Probably should have picked an activity I'm a little more comfortable with while I'm trying to talk. But I think there's a few things you definitely have to know how to do. You have to know how to do the boss, right? You have to know how to do the raid. You have to know how to do your role. You need to know how to melee Zarpus, and not for perfect top actually. This is like Mauritania only stuff specifically. Like I had to know how to freeze without like just left clicking with the nightmare staff. I had to like actually click barrage, click free, which is like not hard to do. Melee Zarpus was another one we all DD'd, and like melee Zarpus all the way around, and then like just not. Oh my god, my baguette's here. Got this from a random like 2 days ago. You got to know how to not die at P3 or just not die at Berserk Engine, which guess anyway, you need to know, you know that you shouldn't die at P3 Berserk. I know how not to die, but no will to live, I guess, for my character that day. But anyway, I guess all I'm trying to say is there's a few things you need to know for sure, but like you don't need to feel as ready as you think you do. I think like it's really just not as crazy as it sounds to get this stuff. It's really just what people say, like it's really just a group check. Everyone in the group just kind of has to be good enough to do it, and like that's I don't know, that's encouraging. It's like, oh, you don't have to have a group full of GMs, you have to have a group of people with blood torva. That's the other thing too. It's like, oh, I don't have all this stuff, I don't have quiver, I don't have blood torva, like I'm clearly not like end game, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that I just don't have that a lot of people who I would think, like, I don't know, if you're going for GM, you have all this stuff. You have a quiver, you have blood torva to get GM. So like thinking like with just how much of that, I have the elite combat achievements, right? Like this is the person who I was like trying to link with in my Discord, or in my clan's Discord. They're 6 tasks off GM, and I am in elites. Like I'm not even close, but I'm doing top, so I'm trying to be like, let me just get this stuff done. And then if I have all the top ones left, I don't have to think about it anymore. I can just raid for pet or money, or I can go learn hard modes. Let's try going down here again. So it feels like it checks like a big box for Theater Blood for me. It's just like, let me just get this in the state where there's nothing else to do. It's like a Raxor. Like I have the pet at a Raxor, and I have all of the combat achievement and all the combat achievements, and it's kind of like, what? There's nothing left for me to do there. I can still go do it for money if I want, but I really try not to do stuff that drops pets if I already have the pet from that place. Try to like go somewhere where I can get a pet. That's why I'm here. Yeah, actually I have the combat achievements done at this place, but none of the pets, so see if I can snag one. But yeah, I think like just getting those combat achievements done is like, I think I was talking about this before about master clues. It's or just about collection logs or all pets in general. Like if you're trying to get all pets, you gotta get the hard ones. You gotta get the Bloodhound, you gotta get the Penance Queen, you gotta get, I don't know, Omelet, whatever else is hard. And for combat achievements, you gotta do perfect Tob, and it's like, well, I know Tob now. I'm currently, I would say, the best at Tob that I have been ever, and I need to get the combat achievements at some point. So I'm either going to do them now, or I'm going to do a bunch more Tob just for fun and then do them later, or I'm going to go do something else, not do Tob forever, forget how to do all this stuff, and then need to relearn everything to get the combat achievements done. Which I've done that with some places. Like I did a bunch of Gauntlet, I got the pet. I kind of spooned it, so I haven't done that much Gauntlet, but I've tried to go back and like get some combat achievements, and it just hasn't like worked out. I got some on the way to pet, and then once I got the pet, I just left, and I am not very good at Gauntlet anymore, as you can imagine. So like I'll go back and get those at some point, but it's just gonna be harder. I have to relearn the content basically. I have to relearn everything, and I gotta learn new stuff that I didn't know before. I wasn't really into like the good tech. I wasn't really doing like the quick weapon switches or anything, where you like switch to the you switch it so that you're always ranging. Like you just bring one weapon and then you just like, or you just bring 1 2 3 weapon and you like switch what you're attacking with so that you're always able to attack with your good weapon. Like I never did that. I never even did tier 1s, honestly. Like I did them, but I wasn't very good at them. I think I literally did tier 2s, and this was like I don't know, this was a long time. It was pre No Monkey, being in the like RuneScape zeitgeist. I think the attitude, maybe, I don't know, or maybe I'm just more into PVM, but I think the attitude towards PVM, at a more casual level even, is just like, just learn how to do the hard thing. Just learn how to do it the optimal way. Just learn how to do it the efficient way, and you'll learn it faster. You'll get to good results faster. Where I think back when I learned Gauntlet, it was kind of like, yeah, maybe just do tier 2 because tier 1's hard. Everyone's like, yeah, tier 1's hard. I don't even know if like hardcores were really doing it. That's pretty regular now for hardcores to do tier 3s, or like just to do Gauntlet in general. Like I don't think hardcores were really doing Gauntlet back then. But yeah, like the attitude is kind of just like do tier 2s because you can complete them. You can probably complete them if you're okay at the game. I had done a bunch of Zulrah. That was kind of like the next step up, kind of. So I don't know. At the time, like Zulrah to Gauntlet pipeline was kind of like, oh, you learned how to prayer switch and gear switch. Here's a little extra. Here's the prep. Here's the more prayer switching and gear switching at the same time, out of rhythm. Like, and you have to count all this stuff. Oh, and I didn't have the indicator. You had to literally count everything back then too. They didn't have any kind of like sound cue when Hunlith switched attacks, so you had to count like your attacks and Hunlith's attacks. Crazy. But anyway, I used to be okay at the Gauntlet, I'll say, and I'm not anymore. And I need to go for the speed runs as well as some other stuff, which I'm not too worried about. I can probably get those, I don't know, in like 5 tries or less, I want to say. But the speed runs are like pretty serious. Like I gotta learn those. I gotta definitely learn those. And it's like something I gotta relearn. It's knowledge that I once had that I gotta relearn. So it brings me to Theater of Blood. I'm not trying to relearn Theater of Blood. I feel like I already kind of did it. I took a big break. I got my like first 100 KC there, and I took a big break, and I'm kind of back. And I've been getting good drops, which has kind of kept me going. This raid just is good to me. It just drops a lot of loot for me. Unlike Tombs of the Masquerade, I have a comparable amount of KC at Tombs, and like probably I've seen 1 purple at TOA, and I've seen probably 20 at Tob. And I've done obviously way more group raids in Theater of Blood. It's not like the perfect comparison, but it's just been way nicer to me as far as drops. But yeah, I'm back and I'm in the rhythm and I'm learning new roles too. I would always range DPS, but I've kind of learned South Freeze, and like if you know South Freeze, you know North Freeze kinda. I kind of like South Freeze more because you just stay on mage, like you don't have to think about meleeing Nylos or anything like that, or like switching to mage to help the major out at Nylos. Like you just mage in Nylo room, and you just freeze the South crabs. It's pretty easy. But yeah, learning that other role and like just getting more comfortable with the raid in general, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm pretty good at this right now, and I know like melee Zarpus, like I know the stuff that it feels like it's like a baseline. It's like, oh, I know the stuff like I'll be expected to know for this. And again, you don't even need melee Zarpus for Perfect Tob. You just need, I think Verzik is probably the hardest thing at Perfect Tob, or Soditseg. I don't have Perfect Soditseg, not that I've gone for it, but like you need to know how to take heat Soditseg, I'm pretty sure, which I can do. I have practiced a few times. I probably wouldn't get it every time, but I can do it. What the hell is this? Bots? I guess where I'm trying to get to with this is like you gotta be a little prepared, but like you might not ever feel ready, because I don't feel ready. I don't feel like a GM. I don't even have master achievements. I'm not good at. I don't know chambers at all. The probably most people's first raid, or probably not these days, but like I don't know the normal raid, the first raid ever. I don't know that one. Never even really been in there. In any kind of like real learning environment. Never. I don't have any of those combat achievements. Yeah, none of that. And I've never done Nightmare. Like there's just a ton of stuff. I'm not very good at TOA. Never done a group TOA, or I have, but like I don't know. Yeah, I've probably done 3 group TOA. So I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff about this game I don't know. And it feels weird to jump straight to Perfect Tob, because like Perfect Tob is the hard thing. It's considered one of the harder CAs, I think. So yeah, it just feels weird. But I guess my point is like, whether you feel ready or not, you kind of just got to do it. You kind of just got to go do it. If you know, like, or if I'll say if the opportunity presents itself, even if you don't feel as prepared as you should, or you think you should, you gotta just send it. You gotta just do it. And I'll definitely watch a video before I like try to actually get the combat achievement with the group. But like, I'm just gonna send it. I'm not gonna get that much better. I mean, I might like try it tomorrow or this weekend or something if we can get a group together. Hopefully, like I was serious in the clan, but like, yeah, this could be coming up pretty soon, and I'm not gonna be that much better at Theater of Blood in the next couple days. So I think you just gotta send it. Um, yeah, I don't know. Kind of a word of encouragement, just like you're not gonna feel ready ever, really. Um, but you have to just do stuff. If you gotta prepare a little bit, you gotta prepare as much as you can, and then you gotta just go do stuff. You gotta just send it because you're not gonna really feel all the way ready. It's not gonna feel like, oh, I'm probably a GM now. Like, let me go for GM. Like, I don't think that's real. You gotta just knock off one thing at a time as you have the knowledge. I'm thinking of like kind of a parallel with real life. I'm kind of job hunting right now. I don't know how much of this I want to divulge, but figure I'll just kind of say it. I'm looking for a new job. I have a job, but I'm looking for a new one. Actually, part of the reason I'm making YouTube videos is just to try something else, see if I can get something else cooking. But really, I'm just trying to find another version of the job I have. And this is just like something on the side where it's like a side hustle or something. I don't know if it even gets to that. I'm kind of just doing this for fun at this point, not really expecting to make any money doing this really. But yeah, I'm looking for my job, but different company basically. And I don't feel ready for these interviews, I guess. Is my thought. I've landed a few interviews, which is nice because I've I don't know. I was kind of job hunting a little bit last year, and it like I didn't get anything. I didn't get a call. I didn't get an interview. I got nothing. But I'm actually getting interviews this time. I've had two now. Two like what I think are like last round interviews. The jobs I'm interviewing for, there are several rounds of interviews. Usually like, oh god, I think one of them I was on the third round, or like my third contact over voice with someone from the company, and I think the other one was my fourth. And basically, I didn't feel great about either of them. I didn't feel that prepared going in, and I didn't do much to prepare myself because I was kind of like I do the job every day, right? Like I know how to do it. So like if they ask me stuff that's like relevant to real life work, I will be fine. But I don't know. I'm in software. I'll say that because this will make more sense for anyone who's familiar with like software engineering job interviews. But you have to do coding tests when you do these, and a lot of them are kind of stuff that is not stuff that you'll see every day at work. It's like it's harder. It's kind of like it's a lot of stuff that I learned in school. It's a lot of stuff. I have a computer science degree, and it just reminds me of my homework. It's like all the stuff I did at school. It's all the homework I had to do. All my homework assignments was stuff like this, like basically just these coding tests. But we had a lot more time to do them. We had the week to do them. We had to get the homework, and then by the end of the week, they teach us a big lesson about it. And then these coding interviews, you got to do these right in front of somebody in like 20 minutes, basically. So it's cranked up. The difficulty's cranked up, and then depending on what company or what position you're going for, they can be really really hard or pretty easy. I've done a lot of easy ones. I've done a few hard ones. It really varies depending on. I wouldn't even say there's a strong correlation between like I don't know more prestigious companies or something or like harder interviews. I'm sure it is like that at the like top end, but I'll say like it's kind of just random. You just really don't know what you're gonna get. But anyway, I went to these interviews and I'm kind of like not feeling super great about that. I'm like, okay, like these are my first couple. Like I haven't really practiced any of that stuff, any of that coding test stuff, and I'm a little scared. I don't know if I like have any of that knowledge because I was really good at that stuff in school, but it's been a long time. I have been out of school for a while. And like I said, you don't use this stuff at work generally, at least the coding test specific problems that they ask you. Um, Generally, I want to say you don't use this stuff. I wonder if I don't know if anyone else is in the industry. Feel free to chime in. But yeah, I have not really used like breadth first search or depth first search at work like that. Yeah, I go to these interviews and it's like I'm trying to do these coding problems and I did pretty good for no prep, and then I did a little bit of prep before the second one and I did okay. Um and I'm really close. I'm like almost there. I think like just I don't know, a few more hours of prep and I'm like above the threshold where it feels like I know the baseline stuff, and then like any kind of knowledge I can accrue on top of that, or any kind of skills I can basically regain on top of that. Oh my god, it's reminding me of relearning the gauntlet. But anyway, yeah, any of this kind of stuff that I can relearn is just like the cherry on top. It's just extra. But I feel like yeah, I'm probably like 5 hours away, 5-10 hours away of practice from like just being really sharp, really solid. I'm even like way better than I was for the first interview now, where I'm at. Like I'm doing pretty good on these coding tests that I'm like practicing online. But it's just brutal. I don't know. But I don't feel ready. I haven't felt ready, but and I would have liked to feel more ready before I got these interviews, but I got the interviews and I just had to send it. And I might have one of the jobs I know I didn't get, or like they were considering me for a different position. I declined, and I haven't heard back from the other one yet. But it's frustrating. It like fucking hurts. 'Cause it's like, oh, I know I could have been better. I could have done better on that. Um, if I was more prepared. And it's I guess that's like the same feeling as the Mauritania only achievement that I went for. It's like, oh, like I could have had it. I could have just had it if I just knew like not dying is more important than doing DPS at Verzik. Like not dying is the only thing you really need to worry about. Do the DPS, do as much as you can, but like don't fucking die. Like that's the thing you need to worry about. And it's just frustrating because it's like, oh, I could have not died. I totally could have just not died, and that's kind of how I feel about the job interviews. I'm like, oh, I totally could have just nailed that coding interview if I just like locked in and like practiced more beforehand. But for whatever reason, I just didn't. Um, so I'm here, but I, I think it's like it's hard to like be mad at myself for not knowing that in retrospect because I just really like wanted to get this process going. I guess I really just I desperately needed to like get some leads, get some motion, so I know where I stand. It's like do I really need to like lock in and make sure I'm like, okay, like let me just commit 100% to my job right now because there's nothing else out there, and I just need to like just suck it up and keep working at this job that I feel like isn't working for me. Or are there options out there? Is there something that like is there another place that like would want me? Because it hasn't felt like that all the time. Working, I don't know, I'm in a job where people kind of in my head it's just like, oh, they don't really like fuck with me, or they like I don't know, I don't feel like they support me or like want to see me succeed, I guess, or believe that I can even. So it's tough to stay in that place, um, and like keep going. So I think I just needed to know that there was a way out. I feel like I've found that at least. I have a little bit of I had a little bit of well I have a little bit of confidence now because I know like okay I can get some leads. I can realistically get some leads, and that's kind of like all I came for, I guess, is it should be the takeaway. It's like that's kind of all I showed up for. It's like I need to just know that I can get interviews. So I have some faith in the process because it's a brutal process. You fill out a ton of online forms. You don't hear back for like 2 weeks on any of them, and then randomly you get a ton of declined emails or just nothing, and then like randomly you'll get ones like, "Hey, do you want to get on the phone like tomorrow?" It's like, "Oh yeah," it's like so just hot and cold. At least in my experience so far. So like I just needed to get out there, and I think like that just getting out there and kind of I don't know, I won't say bombed, but just not doing quite as well as I would have wanted on those interviews is just like that just needed to happen. It just needed to happen where it's like I need to get some data. I need to see where I'm at. I need to see what I need to practice. I need to see what they're asking out there because I've been at my current job for a while, so I don't know like what the industry's like. I don't know what the landscape is. I don't know what kind of questions are getting asked. So are there new computer science questions? Are there new problems to solve out there that they made up in the past couple of years? I don't know. So I kind of needed to just see what was going on, but I didn't feel ready, but I just sent it, and I guess that's the same. That's how I felt about Mauritania only as well. I didn't really feel ready, but I just sent it, and it went way better than I expected. And I think like for my job situation, those have gone, I think, a little bit better than I expected to. I think just being at a place where I don't feel valued, I don't feel supported. It really kind of diminishes your confidence in your abilities. Like I really just kind of doubting myself, be like, oh, am I cut out for this industry or this job, or do I have a future in this industry at all? Like, should I just kind of find something more, I don't know, more like manual labor that I can't fuck up that bad? Like I don't know. I was kind of just getting all in my head, like just freaking out kind of about like whether I can really do this. But I think those interviews going pretty good, except for me. Like, and I'll say too, my talking is pretty good. I'm able to like hold my own and like kind of come up with good answers for questions. It's just the coding interview stuff. So that was the other encouraging thing. It's like, oh, I know this stuff. I know how to answer these questions in good ways. And I'm like, I don't know. It's I kind of see it like a test almost as well. It's like, oh, you kind of just have to say the right thing, but it's like, I don't know. It's like real. It's not like fake knowledge. I really do know that stuff. So like, I don't know. It's just encouraging to really have the knowledge that they're looking for. Yeah, it's just like, and now I just know where I need to lock in. So I think like it's like Mauritania only to tie in the parallel. It's just like I just had to kind of send it to see what I didn't know, to see what I was good at, and I found some stuff that I actually thought I wouldn't be good at that I am, and I found some stuff that I wasn't sure about that I know now I need to lock in on. I know now I need to lock in on having inventory space for restores and not dying at Verzik. And I know that I need to lock in on code challenges and make sure that's super sharp, because that's gonna get asked in those interviews. I but you don't know that stuff until you jump out there, and I think that's where I'm at with Perfect Top. And I think the somehow the culture and the, I don't know, the attitude around Perfect Top is even more toxic than the attitude around Theater of Blood regular. Like not combat achievement focused Theater of Blood. Somehow Perfect Top is even more toxic. There's something called high risk Perfect Top, which makes it really scary. It's like if you mess up if you mess up the Perfect Top, you have to pay both other people 5 mil, which to me is a lot. I know some people have a ton of GP, so it's kind of whatever. But to me, 5 mil per attempt, like per mistake, is a lot. Like I mess up everywhere when I'm playing this game. So like 5 mil per mistake is crazy. And I think like people, I don't know, just the fact that that exists. I guess I'm just thinking of like random messages I'll see in the combat achievements Discord, but it just feels like I don't have any real examples, but it feels like the energy and the culture and the attitude around Perfect Tob is like very just like kind of like looking down on noobs or looking down on like people who would mess up or like punishing people for messing up, which I don't know. It's a weird line because it's like I don't know if any of that is like bad necessarily. I think like if you I will probably do a high risk perfect top at some point if I don't end up finding just an organic group to go with. Like if I'm trying to find people in the CA Discord, I will probably look at high risk. I've heard that's like faster, but it's just really high stakes. It's like really aggressive around like you being the reason the group messed up. Where it's like ideally, I think like you'd want to be in a group where you're all you're all trying to get the you're all trying to achieve something together, and it's like kind of no sweat if you mess up. It's like okay, like what did you mess up? Okay, like try not to do that next time, like whatever. Oh, I just prayed melee for that whole kill. But yeah, like I think most groups it's kind of more like for like normal raids, it's more like oh whatever, like who cares? Like you made a mistake, like whatever. We're not speedrunning. But yeah, perfect top is I guess like a speedrun, but kind of the other way. It's like yeah, instead of maximizing DPS, minimizing mistakes to literally zero. So I don't know. I'm gonna try it if I can find a group and see what I can do. And if there's something that I just clearly don't know and I'm killing or I'm ending the run for everybody, then I'll go practice it, I guess. It's probably oh my god, wait, if I have to tank in perfect top, I'm so fucked. That's actually I should probably do like a Verzik simulator or something. I think there's a P3 tanking simulator now. But yeah, I definitely get hit when I'm tanking. I think you just gotta kill it fast, I think, if you're gonna do perfect top. But anyway, I don't know. I hope any of this connects. I guess where my head's at right now, I probably said this already, but I'm trying to drawing the connections like between the job stuff and the combat achievements. Like you gotta just try it, and you might be more ready than you think you are, and but you won't know that. You'll never feel ready unless you try it. Um, you'll just never feel ready if you're not actually in there trying to do it. So you just gotta send it. You just gotta do it. You just gotta go do the thing, whatever thing you're trying to do. You gotta just go do it, and you won't know how in what ways you're not ready until you do that. You might even be right that you're not ready, but you won't know what exactly will get you ready until you try it. And I think like that I think that attitude is kind of or that fear I guess is pretty prevalent in RuneScape. I think a lot of people like count themselves out of like Inferno or Theater of Blood or whatever. I think it's kind of going away as PVM is more. I think the training wheels to PVM are like filling out nicely. I think Real Titans is so good actually. Like I did the combat achievements for it. I think it's like so good. It's a real boss. Like it doesn't feel like Perilous Moons where it's like I go in there and I'm like what the fuck is this? Like I feel like I'm just there's a bunch of like weird mechanics that like I don't understand. I'm getting like just completely fucked up by Blood Moon whatever, and like I'm just like I don't know what's going on here, and I'd like should. And it's just not fun. It doesn't feel like equivalent to any other. It doesn't feel equivalent to any other PVM in the game. You just kind of hit stuff. I don't know. It's just I think it's just a way to get good gear into the game more than like a good vessel for PVM teaching. I don't know. Anyway, it's a stepping stone though. It's like there's like it's near Scurious, I guess. I would say Scurious is even better because that could teach you like movement and prayer switching, or like I don't know, Moxley Auto exists too. There's so many like good low level bosses now. I think there's like a really I'm out of here. There's a really good kind of array of low level bosses now, which is cool. I think that's so cool. I've played a few of them. They're fun. Like I think just Moons dropping so much good stuff is really cool because you can just go there and like it feels a lot more rewarding than Barrows, where it's like Barrows like kind of sucks in my opinion. I don't really like doing Barrows, and it's like, oh, I got, I don't know, Arims. With the gear's good, the gear's good, but like the stuff for Moons just feels way better for your account. So it's kind of cool. I think like, yeah, the training wheels are filled out. So anyway, I think like Scurious and Moons are kind of fake in the sense that like Scurious, there's no drop. So I guess that's what feels weird about Scariest. It's like, what am I doing here? Just training combat, I guess. I should probably, so I'll the alt is back. Let's see if this OBS window is set up. So yeah, the alt is back online here. Um and I have not, I'm trying to get max combats. I was doing Naguas for a minute, but I have not even really considered doing Scurious. I don't know why. Maybe I should try it, but it just feels kind of stupid. It's like, oh, I'm going here and I'm just like, I'm doing like boss mechanics a little bit. Like I'm doing real boss mechanics. Well, at least just prayer switching, which is like pretty active. And there's no drop. There's no money. There's no like. It doesn't feel real, which is, I don't know. There's something missing there where there's like nothing. There's nothing but the combat experience, which again is cool. Like I'm glad it's there. I'm glad it exists. I'm sure like someone who doesn't have access to any other PVM is like Scarius is a really good fit for them. If like you weren't gonna go do theater blood anyway, like if I'm gonna sit down and pay attention and switch prayers and stare at my screen, like I'm gonna do like a raid or at least maybe I want to learn Vardorvis. I think that's like the next thing I'm going to try to learn because I don't really have a solo boss I go do right now. I'm trying to learn stuff. I'm doing like DKs and stuff, but yeah, I want like a good interesting solo boss because I keep getting the pets for all the ones that I learn. I have all the meta moneymaker pets. It's really annoying, but yeah, all the bosses that I'm like, oh, I'm going to grind this boss out, then I get the pet and don't get the big drop, or I just get one and then I get the pet. I'm like, okay, well that's over. I'm not going back to that boss. Um, so yeah, I think I'll get Vardorvis on the menu, but I think I think the training wheels to PVM are like so much more filled out now. You have Scurious, Amoxliotl, Moons. I mean Huey even too. Like I don't know. It's so there's so much stuff. There's so many bosses now. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. Honestly, I'm and I am. I think they're kind of uh they're kind of fulfilling their vision. I think the mods, I heard them talk about kind of like we need to get a lot more people to endgame to, what am I trying to say? To make developing endgame content worth it, they need to get a lot more people to endgame. So I think that's like kind of what they're doing with all this. Like I think again, this is all based on vibes. I don't really talk to anyone who plays this game. I kind of just watch YouTube. I'm in a Discord and a clan, but I don't interact too much with other people. I kind of just go on We Do raids if I need to get a top group. It's just quicker. But the vibe I'm getting though, especially from We Do raids and the people I meet in We Do raids, is like I think there are just more people who feel encouraged to do stuff. So I think that kind of circling way back, I think that kind of attitude or fear, that fear that like, oh, I can't really do that. I can't go get my fire cape. I can't go get my inferno cape. I can't do Tob. Like that's just too hard. I'm never gonna get there. I don't know if people feel that way anymore. I think it seems attainable to a lot of people or a lot more people. Hopefully, that's just the vibe I'm getting. But I think like I think people feel more encouraged to do this stuff. So that's, I don't know. I think that's cool, and I think like their Jagex's plan is working. Where they have all this accessible PVM now. It's really cool. There's so much stuff that you can go do, and like some of it is super real. Like I would say even like, so Moons to me is kind of fake. I don't think it teaches you anything about the game, really. But and I don't find it very fun. It feels like, I don't know. Maybe I need to play an Iron Man or something, but like I don't find it too fun personally. Amoxliotl I think is pretty fun actually. I like Amoxliotl. I like Huey. Huey's kind of fun, but they both kind of feel fake. I think Amoxliotl is a little more real. Now there's other, you get the pendant, so you can do it for the pendant, and it's, you're not in for like too long of a grind. So Moxley feels a little more real because there's like stuff to go for there. Huey too, there's like real drops, you can make a little bit of money, so it feels more real. But then like the mechanics to that boss just feel kind of not too much, which I'm not even really complaining because I like doing those bosses. I like not thinking too much. Like I was at DK's, I like not being locked into like a Vardorvis or a Leviathan fight every time. That's not, I'm not trying to be locked in, engaged 24/7. I mean, I have like the mole pet. I want like chill bosses to go for pets. It's cool. Yeah, I'll say Huey just feels kind of fake. I think a Moxliotl weirdly is like the most real one to me out of all those. Huey just feels like kind of a mass boss. I don't know. I don't know where the line is for me on like what's not a real boss, but I will say for sure Scurious and Moons don't quite feel real. Um, and a Moxliotl and Huey are maybe the tier up from that, where they're like, these are a little real. There's drops, there's mechanics a little bit, there's stuff that you can kind of get better at it. You can kind of get the feel for it, but it's not, the ceiling's not that high. And then Royal Titans feels like this is a real boss. This is a real boss with stuff going on, and you have to find a team, which just have to find a person, which is so cool. I think the fact that you can just go outside the room, it reminds me of Barbarian Assault. Like you just go outside the room and you're like, anybody, any duos? And someone will just be like, yeah. And you're like, all right, join me. And that's it. Like that's how you find a group for that boss. That's so cool. I think like this comes up in like video essays about MMOs all the time, where it's like I think I don't play any other MMOs for full disclosure, but I think like something that's pretty common in other MMOs and like something that kind of like in my head makes sense for RuneScape, but I'm glad we don't have it for this reason. But it's like automated group finder. Like you just like it's basically just like a form or like a window where you just like click like find me a group and automatically like does matchmaking and like finds you a raid group or something. I think that's a thing in World of Warcraft or other MMOs. I don't really know, but that's not a thing in RuneScape. But I think like the Barbarian Assault method of like finding a group is like so fun and like kind of funny. It feels like the most like a real human interaction. It's like anyone need an attacker? Like anyone need an attacker? Like any collectors, whatever. Like anybody, yeah, anyone want to go do this thing together? And I think like the duo boss is like so cool for that. It preserves that kind of like I'm just trying to find somebody. I'm just like literally talking to people. I'm just putting myself out there. I'm trying to just find someone to go do this thing with. So I don't know. Yeah, and then the Royal Titans like have real mechanics, and it's like it's pretty fun. I think it's a good boss. I think that's not a hot take. I think it's generally considered a good fight. Also, the new duo boss they're coming out with Yama. That looks so sick. That looks so cool. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Actually, I'm I feel like I'm just cracking into like the area where I'm like comfortable. I guess I did TOA on release, but TOA is also not quite like exclusively endgame. I'll say that. Like it sounds like Yama is like for endgame kind of full stop. It sounds like they're kind of doing invocations or something with the contracts. I don't know what that's gonna be, but it sounds like the floor at least is pretty high, or the floor for TOA is like not there. Like you can just go in. If you have I think if you have all three styles, you can do entry mode. But if you have a melee weapon, a range weapon, and a magic weapon. But I think the floor for Yama, the way they're making it seems like it's a little higher. It seems like it's kind of aimed at a end game, or at least a little closer to end game. So I'm really excited, and it's a duo boss, so I'm imagining it's like the same deal. You just roll up outside, like anyone want to go see like if people have the same gear. Do you have teleports like this and that, and you just send it. It sounds so exciting. And then they're coming out with the Doom too, which is like maybe end game. Hopefully, we'll see. But either way, I'm excited. I think there's such cool stuff coming out, and I think they've somehow pulled it off. I think people are climbing the ladder because there's just more. There's more rungs. There's more steps. There's more stops on the way to raids, on the way to endgame, on the way to like more hard PBM. There's a lot more spots in between. There's a lot more stops on your journey, I guess, where it used to just be like Zulrah Gauntlet chambers basically. Like you just used to that's it. Zulrah Gauntlet Chambers Tob Inferno, like I don't know, something like that. Fire Cape before Zulrah maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But now there's so many more steps. There's so much. Even like the duo thing, getting you used to finding a group, I think is cool. Or like Huey being like technically like a 3 to 5 man kind of deal. It gets you kind of in. It kind of gets you to flex the muscle of like finding a group. Now you don't have to, but I think it's a good barrier to break. I think like when I got into We Do raids and I started finding top groups, like I just went to We Do raids with 0 KC or like 1 KC, and I just kept trying to find groups until I got more KC, and it's like really brutal your first like 10 because you're raiding with other people who have like no KC, so you just yeah, I think getting to 10 takes just as long as like getting from 10 to 30 or 10 to 50, but it feels like a big jump. And I think when people get there now, I think they will have probably found teams elsewhere. Maybe I'm weird for not going to TOA with the team or like chambers with teams more, but I think it's just more possible to get, I'll just say raids in general. It's possible to get to raids and like have found teams for stuff before. So it's not that much of a jump to be like, okay, what's the raids Discord? Like where do I find a group for that? Or like, oh, can I go find a team in world? Like, or can I find one person to duo with? Like it just feels so much more, it feels like they're teaching people how to do that stuff, which I think is really cool. And I think it just is kind of breaking that barrier, hopefully, for people to get into doing this stuff, get into doing the participating in the MMO, I guess, participating in the multiplayer aspects of the MMO, which I think is cool. So I'm excited for the Doom. And then I don't remember what I was talking about before. Go out and do it. Go out and do the thing that you want to do. Just try it. Just try it. Just start doing it. You're never gonna feel ready, and once you know that you are or aren't ready, you'll know exactly what you need to dial in, and you have already flexed the muscle to figure out how to try that thing. So it'll be much more clear and much less friction to get into sending another attempt and practicing and preparing for that second attempt, and many more after that, depending on what it is you're trying to do. That's where my head's at today. I think I think I needed to hear this if anything. But yeah, I hope maybe this connects with anyone else. If this makes sense to anyone else. If anyone has any other kind of thoughts and adjacent kind of conversations, yeah, let me know. Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good day. I will hopefully be back with more soon. Maybe I'll be more kind of RuneScape focused and talk about what the deal is with this alt or something, or what else I'm doing on my main. Anyway, see ya.